Hey guys, it's Lainey, and today is my July wrap-up. I read a total of 9 books. Not only that, but 5 out of the 9 were fantasy books. Let's just move on from that. The first book I completed in July was Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. This is obviously the second book in the Throne of Glass series. I rated this one a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this one, and if you remember my thoughts on Throne of Glass when I hosted a read-along for it, I liked it, but I felt like there were some things wrong with it, so I rated it a 4 out of 5. But this one completely turned it around for me. I really, really loved this one. Then I read Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. This was on recommendation from Shannon and Kenya and everybody else. I've been told this book series is really, really good. I agree with that. I rated this book a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And it goes super quick. Like I finished it within just like, a couple of days. I just really wish the covers weren't awful, because the whole series, these covers are just ugly. And that's why I wouldn't read the book for the longest time, is because I absolutely hated the covers. But then Shannon and Kenya convinced me while we were in New York to finally pick it up and read it, because I've had this book for a really long time. And so I read this book, 4 out of 5, really good. And then we started this little read-along. You might have heard of it. It was for Falling Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and I started it Falling Kingdoms the night of. 3 days later, I was done. I was not expecting for me to finish this book really quickly. I rated this one a 5 out of 5. I completely loved it. If you want to hear my complete thoughts on this book, I do have a non-spoiler review of this book on my channel. I will link it down below. Definitely recommend this series if you like Game of Thrones, if you like Throne of Glass, if you like any of those fantasy books. You're gonna pretty much love this book. You need to read it. And then because I finished that book so quickly, I picked up Sweet Peril, which is the second book in the Sweet Evil trilogy. I rated this one a 4 out of 5 as well. This book, why does Kaiden pull an Edward in this book? Why was he gone like almost all of it? It was typical second story syndrome where the main lead boy character's gone for like almost the entire book. Overall, I still really liked it. I like the spin on demons and angels this book has. I probably wouldn't have picked it up unless people told me to read it. And then I finished that and I thought I'm just gonna cool it for a couple days because booktube-a-thon is starting, right? So I'm like, I won't be able to read and start a book. I was wrong. Literally, this came and was delivered to me on the Saturday before booktube-a-thon started, and I finished it Sunday night from having been delivered to my house on a Saturday. I also have a review for this book on my channel as well. You can find it down below. It is non-spoiler, so that is a plus. All you need to know is that I absolutely loved it, and if your reading style is like my reading style, I think you're gonna love this one too. And then booktube-a-thon started, and I filmed my booktube-a-thon wrap-up, but I was just so lazy this past couple weeks that I just did not edit it. So I'm just gonna do my booktube-a-thon wrap-up now. I completed a few of the challenges I did, so I was excited about that. First day I read my book with pictures in it, and that was Torso by Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Angerico. This is a graphic novel, and it tells the story of a crime that is occurring in Cleveland in the 1930s. So it is crime noir, and it's actually based on a real serial killer during this time period in Cleveland, where you would only find the torsos of victims. You wouldn't find anything else to identify them with. What I really liked about this was that they combined the actual pictures of the crime from this it's based on a true story, so it's actually crime photos in this book. So that was really cool and gruesome. The only thing, I think I rated it a 3 out of 5. I just wish the character development was a little bit more developed, because I'm all about character development, and this just kind of was lacking in it. But overall, it was a very enjoyable graphic novel. And then I decided to switch my read a book and then watch the movie adaptation of it. I decided to read book 1 of the Walking Dead graphic novel as well, and then I watched the pilot again. It's no secret that the artwork in this book is amazing, and I don't really read graphic novels. I read more graphic novels this month, and that was just 2, than I have probably in the past year. 2 years. After reading the full book 1, because I think I only read chapter 1 of this, was that I actually prefer the TV show to the comic. Again, I liked the character development a lot more in the TV series than what we get here in the book, and I just like the direction the TV show goes, and I like the characters more in the TV show, obviously, than in here. But overall, I'm really glad I read it. And then I read Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This completed 2 challenges, which was read a book with Brett on the cover, and read a book someone picked out for you. And Kayla from Book Doodles picked this book out for me to read. 5 out of 5. This is a good series. Really good. I love the characters, I love the story, the storytelling, the writing. Everything about this book is complete perfection. And those were the 3 books I read for booktube-a-thon. Then the last book I read was Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, which was an ARC, but it's not mine. It was Cassidy from Cassidy Von Shays, and then she passed it to Kenya, and Kenya sent it to me, and then I've already sent it off to Shannon, and Shannon is reading it right now. I rated this book a 3.5 out of 5, but I rounded up for Goodreads. And I don't want people to think I didn't like it, because I did. It's just, you know when TV shows go on like summer hiatuses and then you kind of learn what the characters did over the summer or whatever, over the time period, and then it just picks up again? I felt like the last fourth was the first episode of a new season, and everything else I read up until that point, I was reading the summer hiatus of what everybody was doing between, you know, the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. I liked it. I did. All the characters that were introduced were perfect. I loved them. Now I'm going to have to wait even longer to read the 4th book. Aside from that, I have started 2 books that I'm currently reading right now. I am reading The Shadow by A.G. Porter, which was sent to me by A.G. Porter herself. I'm 100 pages into it. I am liking it so far. The mystery and the descriptions are very creepy. And I think, even though I didn't like The Unbecoming Amara Dyer, I feel like if you liked that book, you might like this one too. And then I'm also reading The Young World by Chris Weitz, who, yeah, directed New Moon. But besides that, this is dystopian. It is a survival. It is a post-apocalyptic road trip adventure. Can we say that's my genre? It's my genre. I haven't read dystopian in so long, so I needed this. And this is so good. I'm like, I don't know, 1/4 of the way through, if that. Yeah, probably 1/4 of the way through. I'll probably finish it within the next couple days, and I'll also be uploading a non-spoiler review of this as well. So that was it from my July wrap-up. What was my favorite book I read this year? I read too many good books. It's either Falling Kingdoms or The Kiss of Deception, and I honestly cannot choose between the 2. Those are my favorite books I read this month. I can't. Don't make me choose, because I won't. But I want to know, what was your favorite book you read this month? I would love to know. So I hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!